Welcome in, welcome in. This is Frankie Hovers of the world famous Flying Junkies, and I'm joined today by my good friend and partner in crime, Trey Chisley. Some know him as Preacher, others as Poetic Panther. He's a talented filmmaker who has worked with the likes of R&B sensation Ray J and the Space Cowboys over at NASA. Preacher and I go way back more than 15 years, where we worked side by side promoting music for the likes of UMG, Sony Records, and syndicated news and radio stations. An all-around good guy and one I'm blessed to call confidant and friend. I present to you, Preacher.
Thank you very much, my friend. It's so very good to be on the show.
Welcome in, my friend. Good to have you. Good to have you. You got to do that.
For real.
Good to have you.
For real. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to be on the show. Good to see Mike, the other guest over here. It's been a long time, but still, hey, it's a weird way to meet up again. But so what? Life is weird, you know. What can I say?
Life is
Hello
strange
to the rest of the audience out there, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody.
So my man Preacher over there holding it down. I haven't seen you in a while either. Such a blessing to have you in. I brought you in specifically because I knew you could kind of dive around today's topic with a lot of ease. And over to the left of you there, another close friend of mine, going way back, well over 20 years. The man is a wizard at supercharging muscle cars and also runs an actual restaurant here in Orlando, Florida that specializes in Philly cheesesteaks. He saved my drunk ass several times, and I owe him for that dearly. I owe him my life. Let's all welcome in Mike, the Gorilla Grillakis.
Thank you. Straight out of Philly, obviously. I'm be both versed in this topic. Will Smith, straight out of Philly. So
straight out of Philly.
West Philly.
Yeah, that's why I was excited to have you in, man, because you said you're going to bring the Philadelphian perspective.
I had to put the hat on for it, too.
So you're repping the hat, and you got the wife beater on. Ooh.
That's it. I got the hat on mostly because I'm having a bad hair day, but hey, man, it's just the topic, so let's go.
Okay, perfect. Man. All right, gentlemen, so I'm calling an emergency show today so we can tackle the debacle between Chris Rock and Will Smith. Yes. I'm talking Pookie and the Fresh Prince. So just like a boxing match, I figured we'd go over the stats first.
All right,
so here we go. Weighing in at 219 pounds with a height of 6 feet, 2 inches, and fighting out of the beta male corner, we have Will Smith. Will is from Philadelphia, which is affectionately known as Philly. He is best known for his role in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, a parody based on the rap group DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. He currently holds the award for Best Actor, and we're going to go in on his ass today. All right, gentlemen.
Though, that's my boy.
For the next one, we got weighing in at 168 pounds with a height of 5 feet, 8 inches, fighting out of the It's Just Comedy corner, we have Chris Rock. Chris is from Brooklyn, New York, one of the most fierce cities in the United States. Brooklyn is known for great rappers, and even though Chris is a renowned comedian, one could argue Chris Rock is as important to the hip-hop culture as glizzies are to Coney Island. Watch your back, Will. These Brooklyn goons be touching things. Oh, shit. All right,
I didn't know he was 5'8", though. He's small. I mean, I'm 5'8", but
that's close to me too. I'm like 5'9"-ish, you know. You're 5'9" on a good day, you know, with high heels on.
You know, some good Timbs on.
Good to go over the stats because it kind of lets us know what we're up against. You know, you have someone who's a little smaller in stature, you know, the comedian, the jester, and then you have, you know, someone who's a little bit bigger. I'm not going to use the B word to describe him, but someone who's maybe a little larger, you know, right? So there's that element. So let's start off real quick here. Let's talk about Miss Jada. People think Will Smith is a simp for allowing his wife Jada Pinkett Smith to tarnish his reputation. With her scandalous entanglements, do you gentlemen agree or disagree? I'm going to start with you first, Trey.
Scandalous entanglements. I mean, wow, that's kind of I would have to say overall would have to disagree because come on, let's just kind of be for real. Celebrities always have this little quirk about them. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what makes celebrities to some degree. It kind of what makes them stand out from the crowd, from if you want to say the normal people, if you will. So I don't know if I would go that far. I mean, let me just put it to you this way. Everybody's going to have something to say. There's one piece of information that I want to know that kind of makes a big difference to me about this whole thing. And that is whether he knew Chris Rock, whether Chris Rock knew beforehand that his wife, Jada, had alopecia or not. Okay. Because just being honest.
Yeah, I think he would. You know, if I could dive in on that with you real quick. Let me dive in with you.
Thank you. I'm just,
because I agree. I agree on some levels. You know, maybe. But here's where I think he did know. I think Chris Rock knew because it's an industry insider type of a thing. These people hang out in the same parties. You hear stories. If the regular media knew, if a news anchor at the media knew, or the New York Times knew, Chris Rock probably knows way more things than that about Jada, bro. You know what I mean? Which is why he said, I was being nice.
And she talks about it all the time.
And she talks about it all the time. Look at that.
She's had numerous interviews regarding the topic, and you know what I mean? Like, it's well known in Hollywood what she's going through. You know what I mean?
Okay.
All right.
Well, I just have to take that from you all because I did not know about that, honestly, until this whole incident happened. So I was just trying to give him just the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if he really knew that beforehand.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It could be in.
That funny.
It could
so
be
if he knew that
sort
beforehand,
of
it was.
Yeah, it could be a distasteful joke and all, but I mean, at the same time, you know, alopecia, bro, come on. It's not like he said leukemia or cancer or AIDS, you know what I mean? Like alopecia, bro, your hair falls out, you look a little, you know, crazy. You know, I'm not to be disrespectful to anybody with that. You know, not to be disrespectful, but I mean, that's
a rough topic. It's a rough topic for a woman, though. You know what I mean? Like, you imagine, shoot, I can imagine my wife going bald and some shit happening like that. And then, you know, some dude making a joke about it in front of a whole audience where she's feeling embarrassed. I mean, you saw her face. So, I mean, as a man, look, we're in a society now where everybody just, you know, has to be civilized, especially Hollywood. They have to be civilized and you should have been a better man. At what point is a man just supposed to be a man and be a protector? And you know what I mean? Like, there's a fine line that you don't cross. And I think he did cross that line a little bit to where it put Will Smith in a predicament where he had a choice to make. Either he stands up or he's made a joke. You know what I mean? So I think in his mind, coming from where he comes from, I don't care if he live in Hollywood or not, he comes from Philly regardless. You know what I mean? He had to make a decision and he made it.
That's true. I totally agree with literally everything that he just said. Literally everything that he just said. But let me just throw this at everybody, okay? Take into account every single word that he just said, and now let's play the video back in your own mind. Chris Rock had just made the joke, right? Now we flash to Will and Jada at the table. What was going on right at that time, soon as the joke was made and the camera hit?
Will was laughing.
Thank you, sir.
But if I can play on to that.
He was laughing.
Yeah, because we're talking like laughing. Me. I know me. I'm when it comes to jokes.
Until he looked at his wife. And saw that she was disappointed.
And if I could jump in on that, just to tap in on that real quick. And if you look at Jada, the minute Chris Rock spoke the joke and spoke her name, she rolled her eyes and immediately looked at her man with the minute you and I catch eye contact, I want you to know that I am not happy right now. Like, sick him, dog. She took his leash off. She took Will Smith's leash off at that moment when she gave him the eyes.
Yeah, but you also have to take into context that, you know, as a joke and everybody's laughing and everybody's having a good time and you're at the Oscars, you're at the Academy Awards, right? So, I mean, at some point you got to take into context that Will Smith didn't actually have time to process the joke until he processed it, and then he was like, "Oh shit!
Sure.
Like I got to do something." You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So he processed that joke.
And
I'm bad at jokes. You know what I mean?
Not only
so
that,
I mean, it takes time for me to process jokes. In a way, I'm not there. Though, you know what I mean?
No, I got you. It takes me forever too. But here's the thing too. We got to remember, Chris Rock has also poked fun at her in the past. I didn't see the clip, but I heard in 2016 he's cracked some jokes. So here's like a long-standing sort of feud, you know. Now you're in a room with someone, which is why Jada was on high alert, which is why the minute she heard the word Jada come out of his mouth, she turned and rolled her eyes like, ugh, you know, because she was ready for it, you know. And that's the thing. Well, who knows what precursor there was to this? Like, I'll give you an example. When Will Smith ran up on Chris Rock said, "King Richard," or he said something like, "Hey Richard." Like he was saying, "Hey Richard," which is his name in the new movie that he has out, where he plays Selena Williams and Venus' father, King Richard, right?
I thought he said he goes, "Uh-oh, red alert."
Yeah, he did. And then right before he gets hit, he goes, "Oh, hey Richard." And he doesn't say Richard, he goes Richard. And then he gets hit. Bah! And I took that right away and I said, you know what happened? That means backstage they've been poking fun at Will Smith. When he comes around, he's King Richard. "Hey, King Richard. Hey, Richard, what's up?" You know, so there's this playful energy backstage that's allowing them to kind of be open with each other and crack jokes about each other's families and things like that. Who knows what's really going on backstage? We can't forget that Will Smith is a prankster. He's a jokester. And if he can tell a joke, he should be able to take a joke. In my opinion. He's not
a comedian. He's not a comedian though. So he's not on that same level. You know what I mean?
I don't agree. I think he is a comedian.
He does comedy. No, but see, there's a difference between being comedic in movies and being a stand-up comedian, where that's Chris Rock's world. You know what I mean? That's Chris Rock. Rock, but Chris Rock can also do what Will Smith does in movies. You know what I mean? Like there's two different worlds there. Yeah. That Will Smith's not a part of that world. You know what I mean? So
let me ask you this, then. Let me ask you guys this. Do you think that Will Smith, when he came out with the song "I Think I Can Beat Mike Tyson," do you think Mike Tyson should have went and beat his ass?
Oh, nah.
Because I believe I heard Mike Tyson was like, "I'm going to fuck you up." You know what I mean? So, you know, that's the thin line, because here's someone who's a comedy rapper, right? You know, you could argue he's a comedian in the respects that he's a comedy rapper. He's rapping about, "I began the nightmare on my street," and all these corny, you know, so we gotta remember.
That was my shit when I was young, though. I ain't gonna lie.
No doubt. I'm not trying to take anything away from the man's music. I am a fan also. I don't like the Will Smith going into the hardcore era where he started wearing baggy jeans and it's like he's wearing what do you call it, fatigue outfits, and he's trying to act hardcore and all this, you know, boom, shake the room shit, you know. That wasn't cool to me when he just jumped over to the other side, you know. But either way, you know, the point was it happened. I think there's a little bit of a playful energy in the air going on, you know what I mean? And I think I personally, you know what, I'm not even going to go into it right now because we're going to cover this as topics in the show, and I think we're just like rapidly diving into it because we all feel very emotional over it, you know what I mean? So let me jump back on the timeline here real quick and see if we're missing anything. Okay, so here we go. Here's a topic I wanted to touch on. Maybe we'll start with Preacher first and then go to Mike afterwards. So how do you guys feel about Will Smith attacking someone like Chris Rock, who provoked him on the spot, right? But not attacking people like 50 Cent. 50 Cent constantly berates him online, constantly berates Jada Pinkett Smith online. What about the guys that boned Jada Pinkett Smith? How come he hasn't run up on their set? How come Will Smith is not up on their front lawns yelling, "Yo, step outside, homie"? Why did he choose Chris Rock, a comedian, 150 feet away? Was it because he was protected by a room full of people? You know, was he in his element where he was about to win an award, you know? So let me get your opinion on that, Trey. You look like you did some stretches. You look like the calisthenics are ready. Give me your juice on that. What do you think?
Numero uno right there. Will was having some flashbacks about Jada because you hit the nail right on the head right there, okay? Back in the day, I'm talking way, way back in the day when Pac was knocking her back out back in Baltimore, okay? And he was knocking her back out after Baltimore when she went to California to basically get started with the whole career. Big Willie was getting his career started too at the same time. And at the same time, he was liking her and feeling her
Preach
even
on
back then. Okay. And at the same time, Pac, being Pac, would go around and be like, I'm trying to keep it G-rated, but yeah, I hit that, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Oh, we did this, we did that, yada. He hear things, and you're right. Did he ever step to Pac? And I know for sure, never did.
No way. No way. He would have got flattened.
Would have never came
he would have got
in
flattened.
the neighborhood and said anything.
Yeah. Unfortunately, not to take anything away from Will's camp, but I feel like if he would have toyed with Pac on any level, he would have got flattened. I mean, that would have caused a huge, something bigger than maybe that's worth going into, So, Mike, let's jump on you, Mike. Give us what you think.
I mean, you might have thought he would have gotten flattened pre-Ali movie. After the Ali movie, but that boy was buffed up. He learned some things, you know what I mean, from Ali himself. So, but I mean, real talk though. Preacher. I mean, he hit the nail on the head. I think over the years, I think there's been a lot of talk about the Pac Jada relationship, and then they were like the model. For a long time, they were like the model family, you know what I mean? In Hollywood for the longest time, you couldn't say no wrong about Jada and Will. They were elite. They were gold. You know what I mean? And until that interview came out, you know what I'm saying? And she kind of put him on blast about her and August, about their relationship and this, that, and the other. And now all he hears and all he sees is jokes about him. I mean, we're talking about Will Smith, you know what I mean? One of the most successful actors in Hollywood, coming from where he came from. So, I mean, I think he's losing it, man. I think in his mind, he's about ready to snap. You know what I mean? And I don't think, if that was Mike Tyson up there hosting the awards, ain't no way he would have stepped to Mike Tyson.
Wow, there you go. Wow.
That way, let's call it a bean. Let's call it a bean. Like he saw it was Chris Rock. If that was 50, he wouldn't have stepped. And this is me talking. I love my Philly, my Philly rappers. I love my Philly hip hop. I love, you know what I mean? Like we could go back to, the youngsters back in the day. They from Philly. Y'all know if y'all remember the youngsters. That's how Philly goes back. You know what I mean? But I rep Philly. I rep Philly hard. But he saw that it was Chris Rock, and he said, "I'm gonna make this dude an example." Did I like it? Yeah, I liked it. But at the same time, I don't think he'd have done it if it was somebody else. You know what I mean?
You know what?
Okay.
I'm glad Mike said that too as well, because to be honest, dude, did I laugh? Hell yeah. I'm laughing right now still.
I loved it.
But at the same time, was it okay? Here's another thing too as well. We all know it was wrong, but here's another thing. We just saw an assault on national TV,
and nobody did nothing.
Okay, so that's perfect. So that's perfect. That'll help me segue into this next question I have. Right? Nobody did nothing. So the next question I have for you, gentlemen, is: do you think Will Smith will get canceled over this?
Nah.
He's gonna get canceled by the Academy. Yeah.
I mean, he apologized to the Academy, and that only goes so far. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. It's run by the Hollywood white elites, and they don't like that shit. You know what I mean? They got to be glamour and gold and this and the other. But I don't think he'll get canceled. I even hate that bullshit like cancel. Why you gonna cancel? He just a man who felt in the need that he needed to protect his wife, and he did what he did. He did what any man should do. The problem I have with it is it was Chris Rock, man. He's delicate. He wouldn't hurt a flea. Like, if you're gonna do that to anybody, man, save your anger when you see Augustine. You should have whooped his ass. You know what I mean?
That's a great element. That's a great element. So,
honestly, Jada should get her ass whooped too.
Hey, listen, that's why I think it's a problem, and I think there could be some form of cancellation here, because here's violence on television. we can, we as the Hollywood elite, let's say, can say, let's play this up to like, it was a friendly spat between two guys. He gave him a little sucker punch, and maybe it was planned. I'm sure they're backstage right now trying to figure out how to work, the angles on this and turn this into something, Yeah. So what's funny is you saying that Chris Rock can't hurt a fly. So that kind of brings me into the next thing here. Chris Rock being from Brooklyn, not a sleeper city by any means.
Yeah.
What do you guys feel will be Chris Rock's retaliation? Do you think Chris Rock will use comedy as a weapon to fight back? Or is he going to call the Brooklyn goons up and be like, yo, let's run up on homie's set?
I don't think he knows any goons, to be honest with you. Chris Rock.
I don't know. It's hard. It's here's the thing. You got to remember, Mike, we're talking Chris Rock, who did CB4, the movie parody of NWA, right? So here's a guy that tackled hip hop firsthand. We're talking about Pookie from New Jack City. We're talking about I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. These are all hip hop-esque movies that Chris Rock backed. Chris Rock makes jokes specifically about rappers. Chris Rock talks on every rapper's album. He's been on Method Man's album, several other that I can remember off the top of the head or whatever. So in my opinion, Chris Rock is very hip-hop, and that being Brooklyn ties him into a possibility of having goons. And when I say goons, I don't mean Chris Rock's on the phone going, yo, fellas, go hit him. What I mean is you're from Brooklyn. You might not like Will or anybody from Philly anymore. And now it's on site. I see you on site and boom, it's going down, Will. So imagine now Will got to walk up into a club and there's a bunch of Brooklyn niggas there that maybe roll with Chris back in the day or maybe just love him because he represented the culture. Now you got this strange retaliation.
And if that's true, that would be interesting because I don't see Chris Rock as that type of dude. But I mean, again, we don't know the full, history of him and who he knows. But I know for sure, Will Smith being from Philly, he don't really got goons from Philly. If we were talking Meek Mill, or we were talking who's bull? If we were talking Freeway. You know what I mean? Or bees? Yeah, absolutely. Right. But I mean, this is Will Smith. Yeah. He don't have anybody from, you know what I mean? He's not in that circle, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and you even got to look at basically how Will Smith's whole career was basically done for the most part. Even his rapping aspect, Will was always the happy rapper. Okay. Yep. People even kind of made fun of him to some degree because he was the who was that? It was undercover brother. I can't remember the white dude. His name. There was an undercover brother.
Eddie Griffin.
It was one line that he said. No, the white dude. The white dude in Undercover
I'm trying to think
Brother.
of the movie. That's an Eddie Griffin movie. Yeah, I can't remember the white dude in it either. I don't.
Yeah. But the white dude has said basically, Will Smith, I like him. He raps happy. Come on.
Yeah, he was a goofy rapper, man. He just wanted to make people laugh.
That's what he had.
I mean? Yeah, that's
That's
why I called him a comedy rapper earlier. Yeah,
comedy rapper. Absolutely.
I agree. Okay, so let's touch on Will real quick since we've touched on the Brooklyn-born CB4 NWA mocking rapper. He hangs out with rapper Chris Rock. Will Smith, on the other hand, is an actual rapper, right? We touched on that. He was in the movie Bad Boys, so he has sort of this police connotation where maybe Chris Rock has the goons in the street. Will Smith is more Hollywood now. It would be like, I got cops that are my best friends now. The biggest cops in the land are my friends. They're his body, the average bodyguard that works in Hollywood, it was a cop at one time, right? You know what I mean? So if you're Will Smith's bodyguard, most likely, right, you're going to have a cop or two around you. You're going to befriend them. You're shooting in every movie. You're going to learn how to shoot with military, with police. So, Will Smith is a machine. I think we can call him a comedy rapper and all this shit. But I wouldn't want to get smacked by the guy. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to get smacked by, 6 feet, 2 inches, 230 pounds of that motherfucker. I wouldn't want it. You know what I mean?
He husky too. He husky.
He is now. Back in the day, he was a skinny little twig. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, so check this out, guys. Do you guys remember some of the memes that have been coming out? I went on Facebook all day today, and there has been meme after meme after meme. One of the ones that stood out to me was the Batman slapping. I forget who he's slapping. Is it the Joker, the Riddler, somebody smacking the shit out of somebody, and his hand is like this, you know what I mean? And it's like an action shot, and they put everything they could in there, you know what I mean? The rhyme from
see the rings coming out his head.
Yeah, man, yeah, bro. So you guys saw any good memes?
What I
I
saw
made
that.
one myself. I made one myself basically with the hit and everything, and I just put up there, oh shit, Hancock is drinking again. Basically, that's the Chris Rock.
Hancock, that movie was crazy. That's right. He did kind of go Hancock on Chris. You're right, man. He went Hancock on his ass, bro. He had a couple of drinks at the party. It was like, you talking about my lady? Wow. That's so funny.
He
man.
went Hancock on it.
He went Hancock on him.
Yep.
Hancock.
See, there you go, Trey. Trey,
Hancock.
you just saved his career because now they can say this was all practice for a part in Hancock 2, coming soon, featuring Chris Rock and Will Smith. That's it. We saved their whole fucking careers, bro. Nobody's getting canceled.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. Crazy. All right, so let's get a little more serious here. Let's bring it down a little bit, because Mike was touching on some things earlier. You were kind of going in. That's why I'm glad to have you on the show, Mike. You brought you brought in that other perspective. I'm over here like he's a simp, and you're like, no. We must learn to respect the ladies, So it's good to have that balanced conversation.
I mean, it depends. I mean, if we respecting ladies, women got to act like women. I don't think Jada be acting like a woman. Finding out what we found out about her. I mean, she been spreading the legs. I don't know what kind of open relationship that they had, but yeah, she was doing some dirt, man.
So let me ask you this then. Do you think a woman who's not honorable deserves to have her man protect her the way Will does?
Well, that's the question that everybody's,
Wow, yeah.
That's the question that everybody's talking about on Facebook. Like, she did so much dirt. Why the hell's, why is Will going to war for her? Like, Will, like if I was Will, look, 2 kids, 3 kids, whatever. You put me on national TV and embarrass me the way you did. I mean, I'm gonna get my goons on you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna get my goons on her. She ain't gonna embarrass me like that. Shit.
Yeah. That's a tough one because they have kids. That's a tough one because they have children. So,
and they both weird as fuck too.
They are weird
both
as fuck.
Them kids weird as fuck.
They have that Hollywood shit going on. So is Will and Jada. Will doing a lot of gay roles. I don't want to use the word and get canceled by YouTube, but doing roles that are questionable, right? Jada doing roles that are questionable because she ain't getting any roles, but she's in real life doing questionable shit, So that's why I asked,
shit.
So preacher Trey, what do you think, man? Do you think an honorable woman, someone who is honorable, right, deserves to be protected like that? Do you think an unhonorable woman, someone who's done what Jada has done to Will, deserves to be protected the way she was?
Yeah, I got to take it the exact way that you laid it out. You know what I'm saying? So like every conversation, every debate, whatever has to have, like parameters. So if I answer it exactly the way that you said, no. Why? I mean, we've all been friends. Okay, let's put it this way. I might not have seen Mike in a long time, but at the same token, if I was in the O and he was broke down, I'd still pick him up on side. You know what I'm saying?
My man.
It wouldn't make any difference.
And I know for sure that Mike would pick you up too, because he's done it for me.
Absolutely.
That man has saved my life
countless
times, man. Countless times. From all kinds of countless fucking things.
It's like why like if you give the respect, shouldn't you get the respect back?
Yeah.
So the way that you just stated that was basically saying that you almost answered your own question in a way because she hasn't been totally respectful in different rights. So how can you, at where do you bring your level of protecting her respect when you've been disrespected?
I mean, I think they're on a different level now since and then they've been working on things probably, and I think Will felt like, okay, we've been working on things and, we're still in each other's life. We're married, whatever, yada, yada, yada. So he felt at that moment, you know what I'm saying? Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. I mean, he hollered it twice and that shit came from the chest. You know what I mean?
Deep.
It came from deep. So, I mean, he felt a certain type of way, and I could respect him for it. I just, a little bit me don't respect him for who he did it to. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the problem. I respect his motive. I just don't respect how he or who he did it to. You know what I mean?
My personal problem is still this. Let's just bring it down to a whole character thing. Again, I got to repeat what I said earlier. When Chris Rock delivered the joke, the camera turned. What is the first thing that you saw? Will Smith laughing his ass off.
Yeah, I don't think he was ready for it though. And then until he got to process it, I really don't think he was ready for it.
But Mike, you know I mean? If you look at it again, and put a timer to it, and just say, okay, this is your emotion that's inside. Yeah. Okay, you're laughing. Oh shit.
What the fuck?
That's true. I mean,
so let me tap in on that, fellas, because you're touching on something, preacher. You're touching on something there.
But why does she have that much power over him?
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. We have to question this, okay? Because there's all kinds of what's, ifs, ands, and buts. Okay. The next question we need to ask to trail off of what you're talking about, Trey, is was this staged? The reason I ask this is because the cameras were so well placed. It felt like cinema in a lot of ways. Will Smith's stance felt like cinema. He hit him sort of like a cowboy in an old movie throwing a fake punch. Chris Rock kind of leaned into it, you know. The giggle at the beginning when Will Smith was sitting down and he was giggling, some would equate that to nerves right before doing something crazy like you're about to do. Maybe a stunt that was planned on by everyone, because you have Chris Rock's fledgling career. People hate him because of the COVID thing, where he was telling people to get COVID vaccines and then making jokes about it. People are not happy with Chris Rock right now. There's a lot of hate towards Chris Rock right now. There's also Will Smith is getting a lot of hate for being a quote unquote simp. His wife is getting a lot of hate, and his family gets hate all the time. Willow, all of them, they all have gotten so much hate, you know, for being
fucking
eccentric, right? So imagine we're sitting there backstage and Chris Rock is like, hey, I'm going to crack jokes about you because these guys call each other all the time. You know, I'm going to make a joke about you. Okay. Let's set this up on some Kanye Drake beef that we know it's beef, you know, but the rest of the world doesn't. And we just come and drop it on everybody, you know. Now, here's what I think happened. Just to kind of touch off on that. I feel like Will Smith knew it was going to happen. He staged it and planned it with Chris Rock. But I feel like Chris Rock did the old, I'm going to switch the joke on him at the last minute. I'm going to put the real joke that I want in there. And I think Will was caught off guard and he looked over at his girl and his girl gave him the, yup, sick him, dog. You know, and it was over with. It was over with. It was like, that's it. Now I'm pissed. Now, even though this is staged, I'm still going to go through with the scene. I'm going to knock you out, but I'm going to ad-lib it now. And that's why the word fucking came out of his mouth when he was like, get my wife's name out of your fucking mouth, you know? And he repeated it a lot like the way an actor says a line twice so that they can get the emotion out of it. The other thing we have to remember is these TV shows have an 8-second timer. They can easily bleep that shit out. You know all of this stuff going in. You know all of this going in, right? So it's real easy to get away with this and not be fined for it or get in any trouble. And, you know, it's a Kanye West versus Taylor Swift moment, you know, unscripted but sort of scripted. You know, I'm sure Kanye told 10 niggas he was going to jump up there and interrupt. And they all just stood quiet, like, just stay quiet, bro. Let him do his thing. This is going to be great for record sales. You know what I'm saying? So now here we got Will Smith trying to sell tickets to a movie about a man who protected his girls, right? And you got Chris Rock trying to resurrect a fledgling comedy career. I don't know. How you guys feel about that?
Well, I mean,
a lot going on there.
One of the first things that that Will Smith said in his apology, let's kind of back that up a little bit. Let's talk about the apology, okay? What was the first thing he said? First thing he said was that, no. He'd like to say, I apologize to the Academy. Okay? Secondly, I apologize to my fellow people.
Nominees.
Thank you. Lost the word. Got a buzz. Okay? You know what I'm saying? So think about this. Now, if I offend you, and I'm really sorry about it, why is the first apology that's coming out of my mouth going to the people that are more controlling my career in a way. And then my peers, and not even mentioning the person that got hit, that I just assaulted somebody on national TV for no matter what the reason. Because if you really want to get down to it, it's still this. It's still a joke. It's still words. It's still no reason for him to assault that man for what had happened. If he really had a problem with it, let's just say, for instance, Chris Rock even knew for sure that she had alopecia and he was making a joke about it. That's not how you handle it still. Okay, Mike brought up a good point. It's like, how is Chris Rock going to handle it? Okay, Chris Rock, I think, is going to handle it in a comedy way, the way it should be handled, because it came right out of his mouth when he first said it. What first thing he said? For real? Really?
Right.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Like, I can't believe this nigga
You have to give
shit.
him some credit for that, though. You have to give him some credit because you know why? He's a true performer, bro. The show must go on. You know, if it was real and it wasn't staged, you got to give him credit for that.
Exactly. Now, check this out. Check this out. If you go back and you'd have to be able to look at a still photo, okay, after he had already hit him, right? Look at Chris Rock's right hand. Still photo.
I saw that.
It had started to fall up.
He has a... Now, to be fair, Chris Rock is always... Hey, I need Chris Rock. I need a rib.
No, you know I'm talking about the Brooklyn side. I'm talking about the Brooklyn side whereby...
No doubt.
Okay, I don't know for sure what's happening right now. Why is my friend, okay, walking up on stage like this, okay? I don't know what he's going to do. It would be the same thing like with you. I'm not going to be like all defensive because you just like walk up to me like that. And then all of a sudden you smack the shit out of me.
Right. Yeah.
The first thing I'm going to do is like, I see that arm coming down. My hand is going to be ready to, it's like, I'm
Listen, it wouldn't be the first time I smacked a nigga I knew, but okay.
Yeah.
I thought you weren't going to confirm that on the air, man.
Yeah,
damn.
That's why I changed my last name for this show.
Yeah, I heard some stories.
So, Mike, while we got you, man, how do you feel about it being staged? Do you think it was a stage thing, or do you think this is a real beef? You know,
I really don't think it was staged at all. I don't think they had beef. I think they had some words afterward or whatever. But I mean, listen, I'm a good judge of character. I pride myself on that. And initially, you look at Jada's face. She wasn't having that, man. She was really embarrassed. To me, I think Will, as I said before, I think he had to process what the fuck really was going on and what was really said. And he might have been slow processing that until he came to realization. And he said, well, fuck this. You know what I mean? He lost his shit. That's what he did.
He said,
you know what I mean?
He said, yo, Chris, man, I'm losing my girl. Yeah. Everybody's fucking my bitch, bro. Can you please help me, Chris? I'm going to help you resurrect your career. All you got to do is crush mine. That's it, man. We crush mine. Mine is untouchable. I can't be canceled. Yeah. I'm the fucking blue genie, bro. Come on, Chris, please help me. I'm going to resurrect your career. Let me just sucker punch you one time and you go on into infamy being the greatest man ever because you didn't do nothing back, you know?
I'll tell you what, he held his composure. I give him credit for that. I don't know if I could have been the same way. You know
yeah,
the whole Oscars would have been ruined.
Yeah, that's the reason why I was saying. I mean, I agree with what Frank was saying because he was initially saying that Chris did hold his composure, and also what you was just saying too as well. Combined is true because he had his fist balled after he got hit, like he wanted to come back and be Brooklyn. Okay. But he did hold his composure.
You know what? Yes, you're right. You know why, preacher? You're right. This is why. Because listen again. Listen to the audio, fellas. There's a point where he goes, "Wow, okay, wow," and then he goes, I could," and he talks himself out of it. Like he's thinking to himself, "I got 10 jokes right now. I could say." He's like, "I got the rest of the mic, the rest of the night. You don't." Like I could do so many fucking things right now. I would have went Jada on that nigga, bro. I would have said, you know what? I'm gonna talk about Jada the rest of the fucking night. Every chance I get, I come out. I'm gonna be like, Jada, blah blah blah, and Jada and Willow did this, and I would go off on them. That's just me. That's
till they walked out.
Me being from the Bronx, that would be the Brooklyn coming out of me. Like,
yeah, but let's talk about the other side though. Let's talk about the other side of the spectrum on Will's perspective. I mean, like, listen, Jada has a disease, right? So she has alopecia as I don't know the word I'm trying to look for, but she has alopecia. Okay, it's a disease. Now I put myself in Will's shoes. Now I have a brother with muscular dystrophy. I had a son with cerebral palsy. Let's put it in a rapper perspective. If Chris Rock said that to Ghostface Killer, okay, Ghostface had brothers with muscular dystrophy. How would Ghostface react? He'd probably go up there and stay true to his name, Ghostface Killer, and probably put a whooping on him. You know what I mean? So we have to put that into perspective too. Like, you can't just make jokes about people and their disabilities or their their diseases and shit and get away with that. Like, that's very distasteful. So I could see Will Smith. I could see his perspective. You know what I mean? Was it cool to do in front of the Oscars? But I mean, let's call it a beam, man. Like, you got to protect your family. That's disrespectful. Joke or not, comedian or not, that's disrespectful.
Okay, true. I mean, true. Yeah, I understand that. But again, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's two factors that are missing. If we know for sure that he knew that she had alopecia, then yeah, that was kind of distasteful. But also at the same time, what Frank had said earlier too as well. Okay, yeah, and even you said it too, Mike. I mean, because I was the last one that even knew that she actually had alopecia. You heard about it. You know what I'm saying? So. If
he's
you
a
heard
comedian,
about it, you heard about it.
He's a comedian.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though.
He's a
comedian. He's a comedian.
Yeah.
And Will knows he's a comedian.
So let me
knows he's a comedian.
Let me touch on something, because you guys just brought this like random thought into my brain. What do you think of Chris Rock? Being 5'8", not, I forget the weight, but not barely 200, but it was 170 pounds or something.
168.
Weird hands, awkward voice. Dates a white woman. How do you feel about maybe him as the person that has been bullied all his life and has been taking a lot of shit from people? That's how he reflects it back on the world. You know what I mean by that? So we can argue, Jada's got this and poor thing, oh, poor thing. But what about poor thing over here? There's been, probably has half the money that a Will Smith has, half the money Jada has, so she could get her head fixed anytime she wants. She can get the implants. She ain't going through the real alopecia like the normal person goes through that can't afford the $80,000 hair transplants. You know what I mean? So maybe that's the talk, Hollywood talk. It's like, that bitch gets $80,000 transplants. She looks great. She could get a fucking dreadlock put in her head if she wanted to. And you're insensitive, yes, because you've been bullied all your life and you're just this comedian and you're a jester. So of course you're going to spew back. But, this is dangerous. This is dangerous territory, fellas, because people are canceling comedians left and right. And I am not with it, man. I know this started back like when Kramer said nigga and Carlos Mencia stole Joe Rogan's jokes. The comedians started canceling each other then. They were canceling each other out. So now you got this whole like Kevin Samuels taking over the world. We got to the point now where we're stepping on these girls' necks and we're like, this is not, equal rights. You can't join the military and perform as good as me. So now maybe this is the women's way of retaliating through Jada. Jada, who has a powerful show, who has come out and proven that she can simp a man and get him to be controlled by her. She can control this man, right? Maybe she's the spokesperson for it now. She's like, you know what? We're going to shut down Kevin Samuels and all the rest of those guys by having something staged to where we can be like, look, see, there's a bunch of men fighting over women again. You see why women are more important and equal and more powerful. And now we're pushing towards this whole other narrative, which is why I think we need to be careful.
Better?
For them, it does. For women, it does, because they can go out and they can have free sex. They can have sex with anybody they want.
They can do that anyway, though.
They can do that anyway, though, but they do it under secrecy.
Women can do that at any time.
They're getting to the point now where they're doing it out in the open. They're getting to the point now, bro. I'm going to tell you right now, me being divorced, right, and me being back on the dating scene at my old age, some of these bitches, bro, be like this. I got this body count, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, Oh my
That's
God, you know what I mean?
That's
and
disgusting.
It's like they go off, and it's like it's a trophy for them.
Ain't no purity no more.
It's a trophy
Ain't
for
no
them,
purity
bro.
no more.
It's crazy, bro. You know, and another trend I'm seeing too is women dating younger. So they're going for this, like, I'm not going to date a guy that's my age because we're going to want to just sit around, drink beer, smoke blunts all day and watch Netflix. I'd rather have a 25-year-old that'll fix my sink and suck my pussy dry. You know what I'm saying? You know, and they get that quick satisfaction in and out. And I'm going off topic. The point is maybe in reverse of Jada going with a younger dude and getting that fulfillment that she needed through a younger man, you know, simping her man, saying, oh, you know, let's just bring him in the house. Let's just have him in the house. He needs us right now. He needs us to console him. And she's getting her back broken. You know what I mean?
That's so funny too. That's so funny too, because man, the simp is Will fucking Smith. You know what I mean? Yeah. Will fucking Smith. I'm talking about Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You know what I mean? I'm talking like I'm talking about Muhammad Ali. You know what I mean? He's platinum in Hollywood. Like he can get any fucking bitch he wants. So why the fuck is he staying with bald-headed ass Jada?
What's that chick's name? Margie Rabot. What's her name? Margie Rabot. Bro.
Yeah, I love her. Yeah.
Come on, Will. Just go already, bro. Leave the kids, bro. They're on their own. They got their own money now, bro. Your wife is banging out the gardener. Just go already, bro. Go, man. Stop smacking up niggas from Brooklyn that are gonna go bing bong on your ass and get New York on you, bro. You're fucking with the wrong people, bro. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's my opinion on it. And I love Will Smith to death. I've always been a fan. I love Chris Rock to death. I've always been a fan. I just feel like we're talking about two different sides of a coin here. You know?
I know one thing for sure. If Pac was still around and they still had a relationship going on with Jada, he would have never been Will.
And I think
he would have never been Will.
And I think that's in the back of his mind. That stays in the back of his mind as well. I think he's always like, was I ever first to Jada? Was I ever first? Because you know the love that she had for Pac. Excuse me. You know what I mean? So, you know, Pac was always first. So he's always questioning that. He's always thinking about, okay, the past. Like what kind of he was always trying to measure himself up to Pac, and he never could.
And then, you know what I mean? He hit the nail on the head too as well, because then you look at it this way. From an industry aspect, you got the real rapper, which Will Smith was. I mean, or is. He's a real rapper. I don't care whether you... I mean, like Summertime. I still love Summertime.
Let me ask you a question. Ooh, can you define real? Can you define real for me? Because I feel like Will Smith is a rapper, but I don't feel like he's a real rapper. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're going to have to correct me. But I don't recall any song that I've ever heard of him that I'm like, yo, that shit was real, dog. You know what I mean? The only thing I could ever think of is Summertime was
you mean like that? No, okay. I just meant real as in like he's real other than the guy at Circle K right now who could not rap. You know what I'm saying? That's all I mean.
He has a career in rap. He's a rapper. Okay.
Yeah, he has a career in rap. Versus like somebody like Tupac on the other side. Here you got, you know, good humor rapper, but then over here you got, you know, knock the back out rapper.
I don't know. You know, I feel like
worlds. His mind was always going to be thinking about that, like you said. Always going to be thinking about that.
It's kind of like a dude looking over his shoulder.
So let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this because we're getting close to the end here. We got about like 10, 15 minutes left. Let me ask you this. Have you guys ever been in a situation where you've caught yourself simping, where you've said to yourself, oh my God, I'm so in love with this chick. I would do anything in the world for her, plus more. And maybe you start to notice that it's not being reciprocated on the other end. And you catch it a little late. You kind of catch it late and you're like, damn, yo, I was giving that chick my all and I didn't realize that I was just being a fucking simp, you know? I don't know. We'll start with you, Mike. You seem to be the master.
I was the nice guy coming up. I was the sweetheart. I was the dude that brought you roses. I was the dude that came and rolled out the red carpet. You know what I mean?
Right.
But then I started noticing that these bitches, man, I keep going into the friend zone. Why I keep going into the friend zone? All my other homeboys, they dickheads, right? They treating bitches like dirt. All of a sudden, I'm like, all right, well, fuck it then. I'm gonna be a dick. So I started being a dick, and for some reason, that's what bitches love, man. That's what the girls love. They love dudes that treat them like dirt. Subliminally, that's what they want. Subliminally, they act like they want.
Well,
you know what I mean? They want man in shining armor. You know what I mean? But they don't. They want the dude that's gonna tell them no. They're gonna want the dude that says no. Stay in the fucking corner.
They need a little guidance.
Shit, you know what I mean?
They need a little guidance.
Yeah, they need that father figure.
For sure. Preach.
I mean, just being for real. I can only almost repeat what he just said. It's an iceberg slim scenario. It's a straight up iceberg slim scenario. Deep down inside, all of them want just a little taste of that.
They want a bad boy. That's
all of them.
They want a bad boy.
Until the same bad boy cracks their skull open, and then they're like, "Oh shit, where that nice dude?"
See, here's what I think is happening now. I think now we've moved into this point where women can realize they realize they can have all of those men. They can have a simp, they can have a pimp, and a chimp. You know, they can get whatever the fuck they want, and they could keep 3 or 4, 5 of them. Things like Tinder, Bumble, Facebook dating. You know, they just go to the bar, bro. Like when I was an Uber driver back in the day, bro, I get hit on 3 times a night. It'd be like, yo, would you come in and have a drink with me? Cute bitches. And I'd be like, no, I'm working. I have a family at home to feed, you know? Yeah. Just being real. That's what it was. I could have smashed out Uber bitches all day. When you were an Uber driver, when Uber first came out, not the new Uber, not this Uber shit they got now. When Uber was under Travis Kalanick, the original owner, that shit was baller shit, bro. If you pulled up in Beamers, Benzes, because I had the little Scion with the little kid on it, you know, they let me in the club. That first 2 years of Uber was major money. Bitches left and right wanted to, you know, fuck the Uber driver. So, you know, I saw the beginnings of that during that, bro. I would see guys that I know that are club owners that own clubs taking random bitches every week, bro. I'd pull up and be like, yo, I used to do sound here. Oh shit, that's the guy that owns, I'm not going to say the club because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But that's the guy that owns our club, you know? Oh shit, he's with a chick tonight. Cool, that must be his girl. Take him to his high-rise apartment there by downtown Orlando, by the lake, by where the old Amway Center was. There's that lake there with these high rises. Drop him off there. The next like week comes up. I get another ping, bring. All right, go pick up your customer, you know, because I'm in the same area. Same guy, different chick, you know? So these chicks, bro, they're out there getting it, bro. And these are probably somebody's girlfriend that got drunk. He's the club owner. They saw, oh my God, this guy got money in a club and all this shit. Fuck Billy Joe at the house, man. I'm going to be hanging out all night at this dude's crib. Tell him I'm drunk and I slept at Betty's house all night. You know what I mean? I've been gone for the weekend. So, you know, I don't know.
Scandalous, man. Scandalous
is dangerous. It's some things that I've been observing. Me, again, on the dating scene again out there, you know, you get some good ones, but they all got, you know, something.
We saw that back in high school too, man. You know what I mean? That's just in them.
Bro, I've had these chicks over and over again tell me, I have 3 guys. I have a guy for this, a guy for this, a guy for this, a guy for this, you know? And they get whatever. I need my back blown out, dial 1-800 back blown out. I need a hot meal and intellectual conversation, call Frankie. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to bring me on the podcast and he'll talk to me all deep and shit and prep me for a Tyrone. You know what I mean? Like, that's how they're thinking, man. You know, you got to be careful out here, fellas, for sure.
No, but you're real though. I mean, that's totally. I mean, think about it like even on this aspect out here, it's like that times, I don't know, 10, 15.
Oh yeah. Tell the audience where you're at, bro. Tell the audience where you're at.
Las Vegas, Nevada, you know, Sin City, you know, and you know everything that comes along with that.
It's another world out there.
It's totally different, you know, totally different. Just like what you were saying about like the whole, both of y'all said about the scandalous part of it. You get like, okay, let me give you an example, right? So I'm flipping weed legally in a dispensary.
Shout out to the West Coast.
I was doing this legally.
Y'all are free. We're free over here. Me and Mike are on the East Coast. If anybody wants to know, we're somewhere Central Florida is what we'll say.
You know, and basically I can tell you about some of the stories and stuff, you know. So like, for instance, somebody would come in and they would be like, hey, how you doing? Yada, yada, yada. These 2 females, right? And she says, you know, this is my homegirl here. I can't remember the name right now. She just dodged getting married. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, this is what you need. You need this, yada, yada, yada. And let me tell
you. Preacher getting them lit. He's like, oh, you dodging marriage? Come here, girl. Let me show you what you need. You need 2 of these, 5 of those. You won't even remember you were going to get married.
Straight up. I mean, she had literally just left the altar.
Wow. Wow.
Came over to the dispensary.
What?
Other than the driver that drove her over there, I was the next man that she saw.
Wow.
Her and her home
fantasy shit,
hooked
bro.
him up.
Beat it up.
Fantasy shit, bro. That's what I was saying about the driver thing.
That's tame. That's tame.
He's like, that's a Tuesday night for me, nigga.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
Crazy.
So that's what I'm saying. Cool. You're right. It's like scandalous on every single level. It's scandalous.
It is, man. We gotta be careful. We do have to be careful. So, in closing here, I want to kind of wrap the show up. We've hit our almost 1 hour mark. I really truly appreciate you guys coming out here, man. I needed some guidance today. Today was kind of I was lost. I didn't have any I went to bed late last night and all I kept thinking about was this Will Smith and Chris Rock thing, and I purposely didn't go on the internet. I didn't watch the videos. I woke up the next day. I didn't go on Facebook. I didn't watch the videos. When I got on Facebook, I would scroll as fast as I could through the memes. Like, I'm not going to give this any algorithm. Fuck you. And no matter what, I couldn't get away from it. So I started sitting there and I'm going, man, who could I get to talk with me about this, because I don't have all the info. I only know so much. It's good to have someone to bounce off of, So I reached out to my network and I thought immediately of you first, Preacher. I was like, yo, Preach, man, hit me up, man. I know you were like 3 hours behind. And I was like, I think you would be great because of your age bracket, what you stand for. You understand the urban, the hip hop thing. You may know a little bit more about where Will Smith and Chris Rock comes from than maybe a younger cat, Plus, you've been through relationships. You and I have had some of the most intriguing conversations any man could ever have. We're both like-minded spirits, and I want you to know I love you for that. Big Mike, my brother over there, thank you for coming in, man, because you and I have a kindred spirit, we're family connected by friends that are family, and we've known each other. We've seen each other go through everything, man. We've seen each other go through life, go through death. And like I said, you've saved me on many occasions, and I love you for that. I will always hold you dear to my heart, you and your family. Just know that.
Absolutely.
And to kind of tap it out, gentlemen, we'll start with Preach first. Preacher, give them your social media. Tell them where they can find you at. Drop the social media. Tell them where they can find you. And if you have a project that you're working on right now, go ahead and plug that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. In the process right now of working on the outline for a documentary. And the documentary is about the cannabis industry. And long story short, it's going to be about the history of the cannabis industry going all the way back and then bringing it all the way forward right now to where we are right now at this point in time, whereby like me sitting here in the free state talking to my buddies over here in the slave state.
That would be us in Florida because we don't have the legal weed and, all that fun and freedom. I'm still waiting for my plane ticket so we could do this podcast by your pool. And smoke some of that Mike Tyson G13 that they got.
I literally had just finished cleaning. Oh yeah, I told you that in a text yesterday. I was cleaning up outside, getting ready, yada yada yada. So already. But if you want to find me on Instagram, it's 7come11 films. So that's a 7_COME_11_films. Basically on that's on the film project side, but I'm also in the process right now finishing up just 3 more designs for t-shirts, and I have my 7 that I want to have. That's just the number that I want to have, 7come11 blah blah blah.
Nice.
And then we launched a t-shirt line, all focused on cannabis too as well, all designed by me, so that's what I'm doing right now, man. And one more thing I want to add about the whole Jada thing and Will. Supposedly they made up afterwards, but the whole vibe at the after party was not the same. So
couldn't have been.
Yeah,
couldn't have been.
I could imagine. Dope. All right, cool. Bet. So moving on to my man from Philly, the Philly cheesesteak king, Mike G. Ooh. Drop your social on them. Let them know where they can find you. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on. Maybe a little something about the restaurant or any ventures you got going on. Love to hear it. Plug it now.
Definitely not as interesting as Preacher's what he's got going on, because I just make pizzas and cheesesteaks. You know what I'm saying?
That's pretty damn interesting, bro. I have to disagree there.
Yeah.
I mean, when it goes in your mouth, that's
yeah.
about as interesting as it gets.
Hey,
but
that's what she said.
That's it. But yeah, you know what I mean. I got some businesses out here, man, by the beach. Over here in Melbourne, Florida. If you're ever going by Cocoa Beach, Cocoa area, whatever, stop by, look us up. You can find us on Facebook, Straight Out of Philly. Obviously, I'm rocking my Sixers right here. Again, Straight Out of Philly. Give us a like on Facebook. Check us out what we're doing, and stop by for a little lunch, man. Got authentic cheesesteaks. Everything comes from Philadelphia. Our pieces rock, and you know what I mean. Come by and say hi.
I've heard nothing but good things too. Nothing but good things. I can't wait to
you gotta come out, man. Come out.
Now that the world is open, man, I'm gonna look forward to it. I know in the early days of you starting the place, I wanted to come out there and film. I was like, oh man, it'd be dope to come do a little commercial, a little like spotlight on the place,
Absolutely.
So maybe we'll do a podcast one day from the shop, over pizza.
Man, come through, baby. Shit, I got you set up already.
No doubt. I appreciate you, brother. Okay.
Absolutely.
So in closing, guys, I'd like to say that we do not condone violence here on the Flying Junkies podcast. We always urge you to check into the facts, because everything we say here is not law. It's not God. These are just our opinions. And remember, always remember, there's 3 sides to every story. I'm Frankie Hovers of the world famous Flying Junkies. You can catch me at Frankie Hovers. You can also catch my crew at Flying Junkies. And be sure to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/FJunkies podcast. A big shout out to my sponsor today, Depressed Dad. He's a meme god. He comes up with memes on the daily. So if you guys are bored later and you want to check him out, go to Depressed Dad at Facebook and look up his memes. He's got some hilarious shit. He opened a t-shirt shop recently, and he's been blessing me with some shirts left and right that he designed. So a big shout out to the Depressed Dad. depresseddad.threadless.com. That's his main website, his main store where you can purchase t-shirts. That's depresseddad.threadless.com. Now, after you've bought a shirt from him, you got to go over to Flying Junkies, flyingjunkies.threadless.com, and grab an official FJ t-shirt with the logo on the front. Call it official. Okay. I'm definitely going to hook you guys up with a couple, man, for being on the show. I appreciate you for that. And in closing, gentlemen, I love you. A happy, Monday, right? Happy Monday to you, gentlemen. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
I'm Frankie Hovers of the world famous Flying Junkies. Don't forget to call someone you love. Tell them you love them. Text them tonight, because life is short.
Hey, Frankie, I love you, man.
I love you too, brother.
Love you, man.
Love you. Gentlemen, we out of here. Peace and blessings.
Yeah. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in.